So we're going to have a panel now. We're really excited to be able to introduce you to a number of speakers, and I'll bring them up and I'll then do a little bit of an intro. So we have Janet McPool. If you'd like to come forward. Thank you. Simon Wilson, our Associate Professor Leanne No, and Chantal Korovic. If you could come forward, that would be wonderful. So the overview of our panel today, it's really crucial to understand that AI is a powerful tool, but it's not a silver bullet. And I think we all know that in the room here. While it can drive significant improvements and optimise business operations, it requires careful planning and integration to mitigate risks and realise its value. And so this panel will cut through the hype and with a considered conversation around AI, how we can use it to improve our business and the risks and barriers to safe and effective uptake. And I think the two speakers that we've just heard from whet our appetite as we move into the panel. So can I introduce Janet? Janet, we give a wave to the audience there, Manager of Industry Programs, ARM Hub, and it's with 25 years of experience across Australia, New Zealand and Singapore. Janet has been actively engaged in the innovative ecosystem through leading technology, adoption, innovation initiatives and pioneering teaching methods, and her advocacy for diversity, inclusion and equity, striving to leverage innovations to benefit people, the planet and the economy. So we welcome you here today, Janet. Simon Wilson, founder and CEO of Australian Regional AI Network. Welcome, Simon. In addition to her own, Simon is also the CEO and founder of Regit GPT. Is that, I said that right?
Yeah.
And an open source interactive energy system modelling tool based in Morwell. So great that you've come up from Morwell to visit us here today. Simon has over 2 decades of experience in technology leadership, design, planning and business, and is passionate about Gippsland and the regional Australian technology opportunity that it brings. Welcome. Associate Professor Leanne No from La Trobe University. So Leanne specialises in education innovation, digital transformation and cyber security, and an advocate for building cyber and digital resilience in communities. And Chantal. Welcome, Chantal. Manager Information Strategy, Governance and Risk, Department of Jobs, Skills, Industry and Regions. Currently leading the work programs for information data governance, AI governance and cyber risk. An accomplished information governance professional with an extensive background in corporate governance, well-versed in risk and impact assessment and utilising information to formulate effective plans and strategies. So we've got a very well-credentialed panel here today. And we've got a few questions, and we're hoping that we might be able to get a couple of questions from the audience if we don't run out too much time. Chantal, I'm going to kick off to you first, if that's okay. Ethics and cybersecurity are some of the more pressing risks of AI, as we know. And when Rita did her presentation, she had the top 10 areas there that really fitted around the governance piece. I'm really interested, or we would be interested to know, in how should we balance innovation and responsible development when using AI? And what should businesses be exploring in the use of AI to be considering doing their and ensuring their cyber secure and safe implementation? So a couple of questions in there.
Yeah. All right, thank you. So I guess for us, and I'll speak on behalf of the department, I guess, and so for us it was really looking at the risks. So, Gen AI took off quite well. It came in with a bang and everyone was talking about it, everyone wanted to use it. And so for us it was more about how do we manage that risk internally. So, we really wanted to have a policy in place that allowed people to use it, but, also know the boundaries and the risks involved. So, things like privacy, all those sort of things. We work with a lot of sensitive information as well in government. So, providing those guardrails so they knew, all right, what information can I actually use in something like a ChatGPT, or, what things I shouldn't put in there, like what's, the policy that we created as well also covers things of, I guess, when, different areas in our department are wanting to build a use case or build something using AI. So we cover that in our policy as well. At the moment, we're sort of, got a few use cases that we're looking at and looking at the viability of those. So we learned a lot from New South Wales government. They kind of led the space in this area. So we've really based a lot of our research and learnings from the government of New South Wales.
Great. Thank you. In Australia, AI has the potential to create 200,000 jobs by 2030, which will need to be met with a range of entry-level training and upskilling of existing workers. And this is the piece that we often grapple with, is that supply and demand component. What policy interventions and workforce retraining efforts are needed to bridge that skills gap, and what impact will AI have on diversity and inclusion in the workforce? Leanne, is that something that you might be able to touch on?
All right. So my area is in digital education. So I've been in this area for the last 25 years with a disciplinary background in digital tech and cybersecurity. So one of the areas that we're seeing that's kind of evolving quite quickly is micro-credentials and short courses at the moment. We have not to say that our bachelor's and our master's programs are fantastic across higher education, but we're seeing that the technology advances are just evolving at such an exponential pace at the moment. And for government, for industries, for communities and educational providers, not just universities, but for TAFE and training providers, to come together to look at reskilling and upskilling to meet the demands of our industry is really, really critical. So I'm very happy to say that La Trobe is one of the universities that have actually embraced this. We actually won a multi-million-dollar grant to look at creating 41 micro-credentials in cybersecurity, and also with an AI element to it as well. And our purpose is not just to create these courses to upskill and reskill, but we are looking at transforming society in Australia to have this uplift of that standard basis in cyber, but also in AI as well. Now, just to say that at the same time, I'm leading a research study in terms of looking at the value of micro-credentials for industry-based learners, the value and impact of that. And what we're seeing that the three key interest areas in courses that are being picked up is AI, all right, cyber, and in digital health at the moment. And the key thing is we're asking why these individuals are picking this up. It's really, and the key findings that we're getting is because they want to understand that lingo, to be able to actually converse with their colleagues and their industries as well. And we're seeing that these micro-credentials, these are 2 weeks, 4 weeks, to be less than a week as well, modules that individuals can pick up. And they're quite low in terms of cost as well, in terms of what compared to our typical bachelor's and also master's degrees. But what I'm also seeing is that for me as an educator, I love teaching as well. It's having a huge impact on education, right? In terms of the way that we design our courses. One of the key things that I'm a big supporter of is molding the individual, having ethics, right? Ethics is such a huge important aspect in terms of molding the individual to ensure that they are developing AI, they're developing technologies that supports our communities. And I strongly believe that we do need strong partnerships with government and also industries as well to ensure that the courses that we're designing and co-designing are relevant. The skills and the knowledges and the experiences that they're getting that they can have and apply to their workforce straight away. And I can see this is where La Trobe, and I'm sure other universities are doing the same thing as well, to ensure that the way that we're developing our courses, and it's not just, like I said, it's not just our 3 years, 4 years, 2-year courses. We are having different business models in terms of changing our education system to make sure that they are relevant and it meets the needs of our industries. And we welcome partnerships with industries, and we've seen so many fantastic innovations that are in place. We want to work with you in this as well. But at the same time, I will emphasize the innovations the use cases that we've seen today are fantastic. But at the same time, we have a lot of audience members, and I speak to a lot of society and vulnerable communities. Where do we start? Right? It's such a huge area. And with AI, Australian networks are fantastic in that as well. But I believe in that digital online education, it's getting better and better and faster as well. And we want to collaborate. We are collaborating. We're co-designing. Our educators in academia, the research that we're doing, the teaching that we're doing, we want to partner, and we are partnering up with industry to ensure that what we are teaching, what we are designing is relevant and it meets the needs of our community.
May I jump in on that one?
Yeah.
So I think, because this is a spot that's pretty dear to my heart, actually, in where I'm in Morwell, we're sort of flanked by the power stations, which is shutting down. So there's a bit of a vacuum and new opportunities with wind coming in, and there's a lot of the kids have been leaving. Like you mentioned in Bendigo, that it's the opposite trend, and we hope to have the same in my region. But I'm really passionate about this with this AI technology. I think it really flips the technology paradigm. It's the skills of regional kids and communities with generations of experience on the farm. That sort of stuff is, those sort of things are you can't teach them, but with AI and tech and this new tech, it's very easy to build an application or get that tech knowledge. So I think it really gives a unique opportunity to regional kids and regional skills being developed to stay and realise opportunities where they are and really flourish. So, but that's my hope for the AI space.
I think that's a great point, Simon. And the other thing is too, it's about the sense of now, that impatience that people have. So yeah, having our undergraduate courses that, 3 years and so on, but it is the now, and particularly that example of Gippsland. People, they're frightened about the future in terms of where the jobs are. And if there are short courses and micro-credentialing that's going to get them on that journey faster, like that's where we need to move. We have to actually be more relevant to what industry needs, but what our students, our learners need.
Yep.
Chad, if I can ask you, adopting AI involves significant financial considerations, not only just in initial investment, but ongoing changes to operations and management and maintenance. What resources are available to support businesses in selecting appropriate AI tools, and how do you see businesses balancing ongoing financial commitment and benefits of technology?
Thank you. Firstly, can I just say it's great to be in Bendigo. I'm actually from country New South Wales originally, so
That's
I
wonderful.
love the regions, and I lived for 23 years in the regions in New Zealand, so I'm really passionate about regions. So I think it doesn't have to be expensive. So I think that's the first thing. Second, probably actually the first thing is don't follow the hype. So we're talking to the 97%, I think it is roughly, of our businesses in Australia that are SMEs. We know you don't have the money. You do not need that much money, okay? And don't follow the hype. We're not talking, that was all great by the professor. But it's actually about augmenting your work. It's about augmenting your employees. It's about your bottom line. It's about your business. It's about scaling. There's a missing middle in Australia in terms of small businesses and the large corporates, and we just need to help these businesses to scale. So we understand that there's a lack of investment, and that's why the government, for example, has invested in the AI Adopt program. I run one, Simon runs one, there are two others, as Rita said. So our one is nationwide. We've got 28 partners, at least one in every state, and we start with just a readiness assessment. You can just go www.aiadopt, not adapt, aiadopt.ai, and the readiness assessment is there. It gets you in the right mindset. 10 questions, one of them is investment, but also change management capability, and then it goes in to talk about your data and your infrastructure, and actually, do you have an innovation culture? Because if you're looking at this as an investment on the side, and it's happening in a little silo over here, then you will be thinking about, how do I get that money out of somewhere else and put it over here? It's not. It's part of your business. I've led digital transformation for about 25, I really won't tell you how many years, but 25 years, let's say. And it is has to be part of your business plan. That's why the change management is absolutely essential. So our readiness assessment puts the SMEs into a bucket, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The assessment isn't for us, it's for businesses. It's a self-assessment. The results come up straight away. And then we go in deeper, and then we can work with the businesses. So the ARM Hub actually has a number of accelerators outside of, we've got 5 other programs, as well as the AI Adopt Centre. And we're very good at attracting money to help with things like this. So we're very, very good at co-designing things with businesses and actually bringing that money in from government, from industry, even from universities. So out of our 28 partners, 7 are universities around the country. So it isn't so much about the money, it's your mindset about what that money is. And, what we're looking for is a return on investment, but not in the traditional way. You've got to think of this return of investment across your business, the whole of your business. Yes, it's productivity, but MYOB did a survey, and if productivity improvements, I can't remember the stat, if execs had time, they would spend it innovating. And innovation is where we want to get to. We want to get to scale in innovation. You don't have to do it yourself. It's a co-design process to get you an AI adoption roadmap. Readiness assessment is for you. AI.ai, jump online, and we do specialise in manufacturing, actually, so that might help the 18% of businesses in the room.
Fantastic, Janet. Thank you. Simon, can I just ask, coming from Gippsland, where have you seen AI being used now, and what have been the successes that you've seen?
Well, I think, I'd probably extend on exactly what Janet said about there's a lot of hype and attention around fancy, really expensive applications of this stuff, but in our customers, as Janet said, for our regional AI Adopt Centre is SMEs, small, medium businesses, just trying to run their business. And the real success stories that we're seeing coming along are just leveraging some of the really accessible free tools and available tools, even the generic things like ChatGPT. And what we're finding with businesses and majority of a lot of these businesses, their employees are using these things whether they like it or not. They're actually, it's not an application, it's not a thing, it's a lifestyle evolution really, and their employees are using things like ChatGPT and these type of things to solve problems in their work. So from a security and data privacy perspective, the process flow that we're engaging in with our businesses is really an awareness, then education, and then conversation. So a deliberate conversation by a small business owner with their employees. How are you using this stuff today? Are you using it in your personal life? Do you see opportunity? Are you scared about it? Have an open but deliberate and focused conversation with your employees. And without fail, every business that we have that discussion with, there's opportunity to leverage some of these tools in those businesses and actually guide that use in a safe and responsible way that doesn't expose company data. Like we had an example with our core areas are agriculture, forestry, fisheries, and renewables. But we had a conversation with actually a daycare clinic where one of the employees was using ChatGPT for her observation notes of one of the children, and that employee got in trouble from due to privacy and those type of concerns. But on the flip side, the employee was a Chinese speaker, so she didn't speak English very well. And the notes were just amazing quality that she was able to produce out of this tool. And there's this sort of divide of the boss donging over the head to say, stop using this altogether. But there was value to be had out of that. So an open conversation about, okay, that's a great use case, but have you considered that we need to be careful of this, that, and the other? So that's what we say. But those where we're seeing the real value deriving is just those simple known problems, and using some of these generic tools even just to solve them is pretty amazing actually. Like in the ag space with a lot of farmers using just simple image detection to detect and identify weeds and those type of things, or adding your tractor manual to a GPT and being able to have a conversation with it, and that sort of stuff. They're the interesting use cases.
It's limitless, isn't it? Even
It really
in
is.
conversation here now, there's examples coming to mind, and I can see Janet thinking, we've all got, I think, opportunities where you can see it playing out, where you see where it is happening, and those governance rules are absolutely so important, because you get caught up in the hype of what you're doing and see the great outcomes and forget the human element in all of that as well. We're actually going to run out of time to do questions from the floor, which is a shame, but we're going to break for lunch, and this is where you will have the opportunity to speak with Janet, Simon, and Chantal and Leanne, if you're staying for lunch as well. Please take that opportunity to do that. We want to give you 45 minutes so you can have plenty of time to be able to chat with others or speak to speakers this morning or our panel. and hopefully you found so far this morning very beneficial. It's exciting. It's just, as we've said, changing so quickly, and hoping that people will have the experience and courage to try some different things. This is a conversation about where we can go next. So thank you very much to our panel. Yeah, Fran.
Thank you.
Thank you.